And now...
What is this?
I know you're gonna dig this.
This is the Flatland Sports Podcast.
Where do you come from? Lubbock, Texas?
Lubbock, Texas.
A place called Lubbock.
I wonder if they think I'm so gorgeous back in Lubbock.
What do you care about Lubbock? You're big time now.
I'm just a little homesick, that's all.
Is that what you want, Larry, to spend the night in Lubbock, Texas at a day's inn with a $15 voucher from Cinnabon?
Lubbock? No, it's near Lubbock.
What's it like there?
It's flat, real flat. You stand on a coffee can, you can see Colorado.
How are you doing from across the Great Plains of West Texas? This is the Flatland Sports Podcast, free and available worldwide, exclusively on YouTube, wherever you are, however you are. I hope you're happy. I hope you're well. Texas Tech is making moves to secure its non-revenue sports for the future. We'll also talk about Red Raider basketball, Lady Raider basketball, and Red Raider softball. And as always, we'll have the good, the bad, and the ugly, and much, much more. But first, this episode of the Flatland Sports Podcast is powered by Midwest Helmets, where owner Dallas Thompson turns football art into a full-on experience. If you've ever wanted a custom helmet of any team, any design, or a wild idea straight from your imagination, Dallas can make it happen. Want a classic double T like the one behind me? He'll do it. Bass Boat Glitter Shell? He'll do it. Need a helmet to rep your fantasy football squad? He'll build that too. Whatever you're dreaming up, Dallas brings it to life with incredible attention to detail. These are one-of-a-kind pieces that will level up your office, man cave, podcast studio, anywhere you rep your team. To order, just DM Midwest Helmets on Instagram or hit up their Facebook page. Both are linked in the description. And when you mention Flatland Sports in your message, you'll get 10% off your custom build. Midwest Helmets, custom, bold, and built to stand out. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're here right now, like the video, double check that you're subscribed. It's free for you. It helps me tremendously. Lots to get into today, so we'll just get right into it. So we got a pretty important update out of the Texas Tech athletic department, and it gives us a glimpse into how the Red Raiders are preparing for the new era of college athletics. Athletic Director Kirby Hocutt says Texas Tech plans to increase scholarships in its Olympic sports as schools move to the new revenue-sharing model. Starting with this new system, schools can share up to around $20 million per year directly with student athletes. And just like you'd expect, the bulk of that money is going to football and men's basketball because those are the sports that drive the revenue. But here's the catch. Those extra scholarships in non-revenue sports, they also count against the same revenue sharing cap. So if you add more scholarships in track, baseball, softball, soccer, tennis, anything, that's money that can't go directly to football or basketball players, or vice versa. If you're putting more of the revenue share into football and basketball, not only can you not revenue share as much with your non-revenue sports, you can't even increase their scholarships that way. That means Texas Tech, and really every school in the country, is about to be in a constant balancing act. How much do you invest in football to stay competitive in the Big 12? How much goes to basketball? And how do you protect the rest of your athletic department while staying Title IX compliant, which Title IX, by the way, really one of the biggest issues that has not been discussed nearly enough when it comes to this new era of revenue sharing. Hocutt's message is pretty clear. The goal is to stay competitive across the board, not just in revenue sports. And honestly, this is the reality of the new college sports economy. Football is still the engine. Men's basketball is still the second engine, or maybe men's basketball is the transmission. It's not driving the car, but it's a vital component. Everything else rides in the passenger seats. But schools like Texas Tech have built real success and identity in Olympic sports, track, field, baseball, softball, and others. You can't just abandon these programs, nor do you want to see these programs get abandoned in the college sports world, both for competitive reasons and for Title IX compliance. So what Tech appears to be doing is using scholarships as the primary way to support those sports, while the direct revenue share dollars are going to be concentrated in football and basketball, which is, again, great news for baseball, which historically, mainly due to Title IX, you've not been able to put near as many scholarships into baseball. And as we've seen recently in the transfer portal era, that has hurt you tremendously. And make no mistake, every scholarship decision is now basically a salary cap decision. It's not just, can we afford another scholarship? It's, is that scholarship worth what it will cost us in football or basketball spending power? That's the new math of college athletics. Bottom line, Texas Tech is trying to thread the needle, keep college football and baseball competitive in the revenue sharing era, while still protecting Olympic sports and essentially protecting the whole purpose of college athletics altogether that make up the rest of the department. And that balancing act is going to define college athletics for the next decade and more. When we come back, we'll talk about Texas Tech basketball. This is the Flatland Sports Podcast presented by Midwest Helmets. Welcome back. Texas Tech took care of business in a big way Wednesday night, blowing out Colorado 78-44 inside the United Supermarkets Arena. Red Raiders came out firing and never looked back. After Colorado briefly grabbed a 2-0 lead, Tech answered with a three from Donovan Atwell and led the rest of the night. By halftime, the Red Raiders were up 39-22, and they opened the second half with an 8-0 run to push the margin past 20 and effectively end the game. Atwell led the way with 20 points, knocking down 6 3-pointers in one of the best shooting nights of the season. JT Toppin dominated the glass, finishing with 16 points and a career-high tying 18 rebounds for yet another double-double. Christian Anderson added 14 points and 7 assists, while Jalen Petty chipped in 12. Defensively, this was vintage Texas Tech. The Red Raiders held Colorado to just 29% shooting from the field and only 24% from three. Buffaloes never found any rhythm offensively and couldn't seriously threaten after the opening minutes. With the win, Texas Tech moves to 18-6 overall and 8-3 in Big 12 play, keeping pace near the top of the conference standings. And what this means, really, this is exactly the kind of bounce-back performance you wanted to see. Dominant defensively, balanced scoring, total control from start to finish, but the real test comes next as the Red Raiders hit the road to face the number 1 Arizona Wildcats in a massive conference showdown. Texas Tech heads to Tucson this weekend for one of the toughest tests of the season, taking on the number 1 Arizona Wildcats inside the McHale Center. The Texas Tech Red Raiders enter the matchup, as we said, 18-6 overall, looking to bounce back after a close loss to Kansas, but secured a good win against West Virginia and Colorado. Arizona sits at 23-1, ranked number 1 in the country and playing as well as anyone in college basketball right now. Taking a look at Arizona's last 5 games, their most recent was a loss to Kansas, 82-78. Before that, wins against Oklahoma State, 84-47, Arizona State, 87-74, BYU, 86-83. That game, BYU almost came out on top and, in my opinion, got absolutely hosed by the officials. And then West Virginia, 88-53. The Wildcats have won 4 of their last 5, continue to dominate opponents on both ends of the floor. This is truly one of the best teams in college basketball in 2026. Season leaders for Texas Tech, the offense continues to run through JT Toppin, who averages 21.8 points per game and 10.5 rebounds. One of the most productive front court players in the country. In the backcourt, Christian Anderson leads the conference in assists with 7.7 per game, serving as the engine of the Red Raider offense. Arizona counters with a balanced attack. Caleb Love leads the Wildcats with 15.7 points per game while shooting just over 50% from the field. On the glass, Toby Awaka averages 9.6 rebounds per game, anchoring one of the nation's best rebounding teams. At point guard, Kylan Boswell dishes out 4.5 assists per game, driving Arizona's high-tempo offense. We'll compare some stats real quick. Arizona holds the edge in several major categories. Points per game, Arizona 88.8 to Tech 82.3. Points allowed, Arizona 68.2, Tech 72.3. Field goal percentage, Arizona 51%, Texas Tech shoots 47%. Rebounds per game, 44 even. Texas Tech 37.3 rebounds per game. Assists per game, Arizona 18 even, Texas Tech 16.2. Blocks, Arizona leads 4.7 to Texas Tech's 3.3. Steals, Arizona 8.5 to Tech's 6.3. So Arizona leading in quite literally every statistical category on the board. What do we need to know about Arizona? This is a team that plays fast, scores in bunches, and overwhelms opponents with depth. The Wildcats average nearly 89 points a game, shoot over 50% from the field, and dominate the rebounding battle almost every night. At 23-1, they set the standard for the Big 12 and look every bit like a national title contender. Let's go now to the keys of the game. Number 1, control the tempo. Arizona wants to run. Texas Tech needs to slow this down and make it a half-court game. Number 2, rebound at a high level. Arizona is +7 in the rebounding margin, and that is absolutely one of their biggest strengths. You need to cut that down, maybe even take it away altogether. Number 3, limit live ball turnovers. Just like I've said with several other teams in the Big 12, BYU, Houston, Arizona can score just fine without your help. You don't need to give them any extra possessions. Transition points are where the Wildcats break games open. Don't let them do it. And then an extra key, number 4, late game execution, something that Texas Tech maybe has struggled with a little bit. Against the number 1 team in the country, every possession matters. You need to close out games. This is a true measuring stick game. Arizona is the current standard in the Big 12, and a win in Tucson would be a massive resume boost for Texas Tech. It's going to be an incredibly tough one to win, but this is the kind of game that Miracle Mac is known to win. I believe Texas Tech pulls off the upset. This one's going to be 82-81 for the good guys in Lubbock. When we return, we'll talk Lady Raider basketball. This is the Flatland Sports Podcast presented by Midwest Helmets. Welcome back. If you've been waiting for the moment where Texas Tech women's basketball truly felt back, you may have just watched it happen over the last couple weeks. This isn't just a team picking up wins. This is a program truly building momentum, building belief, and building what could be the defining stretch of the Krista Gerlich era. We'll start with the defining win against TCU. It started with the breakthrough, number 21 Texas Tech taking down number 12 TCU 62-60 in Lubbock. Top 15 opponent, a tight game, high stakes, a packed arena, and when the moment came, Snudda Collins delivered. She poured 28 points, hit the biggest shots of the night, and sealed the win at the free throw line. It wasn't just a good performance. That was a star stepping up in a signature moment. And more importantly, it was a team proving that it could win the kind of game that defines these seasons. Every program has that one win where you look back and say, that's where it became real. And that night felt like one of those nights. But you were concerned about the response. You were concerned if maybe there'd be a little bit of a letdown. So then comes the road trip to Houston. And instead of a letdown after an emotional win, Tech cranked it up to a whole nother level. Lady Raiders rolled to an 85-61 win over the Cougars. Bailey Maupin put up 25 points, 5 threes. Jalen Bristow, 15 points. Gimma Nunez, 13 points, 7 assists, and 6 steals. But the real story, defense. 32 Houston turnovers were forced that night, 40 points off of those turnovers, and 17 steals. That's about as good as you can do. It wasn't just winning, that was the identity of this team on full display. Pressure, pace, and physicality. That was a team that didn't just want to win, they wanted to overwhelm the Houston Cougars. Then came Kansas and Lubbock. It was a tighter game, a tougher grind. The kind of February contest where execution matters more than the emotion, and Tech held off the Jayhawks 70-65. Bailey Maupin put up 23 points, Snudda Collins 17 points, big free throws late to seal it. And with that win, Krista Gerlich earns her 100th victory as Texas Tech's head coach. Not just a milestone, that is a marker, that is a sign of the foundation that she has been building is starting to produce real, tangible results. And we've all waited very patiently. And credit to Kirby Hocutt and the Texas Tech administration for being patient while she built this program. What this stretch means, to think about this run here, you beat a top 15 TCU team in a thriller. You dominated Houston on the road, and you closed out Kansas for win number 100 for the head coach. That's not luck. That's not a one-off upset. That is a team that is finding its identity at the right time of year. They've got a star closer in Snudda Collins, a consistent scorer in Bailey Maupin, a do-everything point guard in Gimma Nunez, and a defensive system that can just take over games. When Krista Gerlich was hired, the goal wasn't just to make the tournament. The goal was to restore the Lady Raider standard. Not just competitive, not just respectable, but dangerous, relevant, and nationally noticed. This was a team that had won national championships in the past, and that was always the goal going in. And over the last couple weeks, this team has started to look like exactly that. So you have a signature win over TCU, a road demolition of the Houston Cougars, which we all always love, regardless of the context, and win number 100 for head coach against the Kansas Jayhawks. That's not just a good stretch. That's the kind of stretch that defines seasons and sometimes defines eras. The Lady Raiders are rolling, and for the first time in a long time, it feels like the climb back to prominence isn't just a goal anymore. It's happening. When we come back, we'll talk about Red Raiders softball. This is the Flatland Sports Podcast, presented by Midwest Helmets. Welcome back. Texas Tech softball is off to a scorching start in 2026, and the Red Raiders look every bit like a team built for another deep postseason run. Through the opening stretch, Tech sits at a perfect 6-0. They've done it in dominant fashion. This hasn't been a team scraping by opponents. They have been explosive at the plate, sharp in the circle, and they've already picked up a signature win. The opening weekend was capped by a 12-0 run rule victory over Bryant, a game that perfectly summed up how dangerous this lineup is. In that one, every single Texas Tech batter reached base and scored. That is depth from top to bottom. Through 6 games, the Red Raiders have already put up 64 runs, 12 home runs. This offense didn't need time to warm up. It showed up ready to dominate from the first pitch of the season. Early in the week, Mia Williams and Haley Toney combined for 8 RBIs in one of the opening games, and Tech followed that with back-to-back wins the next day. It's been a steady stream of high-scoring, comfortable victories. But the biggest moment so far came against the number 11 Texas A&M Aggies. That was the early measuring stick game, and Texas Tech passed it, beating a top 15 opponent. This early gives the Red Raiders the kind of resume win you want if your goal is to host a postseason and get back to Oklahoma City. Not to mention, any win over the Aggies is a good thing, not just for us here in Lubbock, but just the world in general. And a huge part of why the expectations are so high in Lubbock this year is, of course, the return of Nyjeri Kennedy. Kennedy came back for her senior season after leading the Texas Tech Red Raiders on a historic run that came just short of a national championship. She was the backbone of that team, the ace who carried the Red Raiders through the postseason and into the national title series. Her return gives Texas Tech something every championship contender needs: a proven ace who has been on the sport's biggest stage and knows what it takes to get back there. And it hasn't just been about Kennedy either. The rest of the pitching staff has done its part. Samantha Lincoln threw a shutout in the Bryant run rule game, and overall the staff has kept opponents from getting comfortable at the plate. So when you step back and look at the full picture, this is exactly what you want from a team with national championship expectations: an undefeated start, explosive offense, and a senior ace back for one more run. And a marquee win, of course, over a ranked opponent like Texas A&M. The bottom line is simple. Texas Tech softball doesn't just look good, they look dangerous. And with Nyjeri Kennedy back for her senior season after coming so close last year, this team isn't just chasing another postseason run. They're chasing a national championship. The Red Raiders will be back in action tonight against the number 6 Florida State Seminoles. That game is on ESPN2. It will kick off at 12 o'clock. One of the few fully nationally televised softball games that we might get this year, so make sure you take a moment and watch this one. Daytime sports are always fantastic, no matter what they are. When we come back, we'll have the good, the bad, and the ugly. This, of course, is the Flatland Sports Podcast presented by Midwest Helmets.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Back for one more. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll start with the good.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Mountain West is adding a new name to its football lineup, and it's a big one from the FCS ranks. North Dakota State will join the conference as a football-only member starting in 2026, beginning the program's move to the FBS level. The Bison have been the gold standard in FCS football, winning 10 of the last 15 national championships and dominating that level for more than a decade. They'll play a full Mountain West schedule in 2026, but under the current rules, North Dakota State wouldn't be eligible for a conference title game or a college football playoff until 2028 because of the 2-year transition period. However, school officials say the Bison plan to petition for a waiver that would allow them to compete for the conference title and the college football playoff as early as next season. And this is just another example of why ESPN is absolutely full of it. Group of 5 schools have zero interest in being pushed into their own separate but equal playoff. North Dakota State is one of the most dominant FCS programs of all time. They could have stayed right where they were. Their student athletes could have been competing for national championships year in and year out at that level, but instead they're moving up because even the chance to compete for a college football playoff, even the chance to compete for essentially the same national championship that Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, and everyone else is competing for, even if the likelihood that you're ever going to win one of these is suddenly zero, maybe not even zero, just 1%, as opposed to, I mean, what is it? They had a 75% win chance year in and year out. The chance to just be in the hunt is more valuable than winning a so-called lower tier championship. It tells you everything you need to know about where this sport is heading, not just on the ESPN side, where, again, we're hearing them continuously trying to push out the undesirable programs, but also how much the undesirable programs have been pushing back. We'll get another good.
This is the most beautiful sight these eyes have ever seen.
Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire is adding another national role to his resume. McGuire has been named to the American Football Coaches Association Board of Trustees, where he'll serve as one of 2 representatives from the Big 12. The AFCA board helps guide policy and direction for the organization, which has represented coaches across all levels of football since 1922. McGuire said it is an honor to serve and noted that college football is at a pivotal stage in change, adding that he wants to help the sport move forward. The appointment comes after a historic season for the Red Raiders, who won their first Big 12 championship, made their first college football playoff, and finished with a program record 12 wins. And anytime you have a guy like Joey McGuire helping guide policy for college football, it is a good thing. Kalani Sitake, by the way, the other name for the Big 12, the head coach at BYU, will serve on the American Football Coaches Association Board of Trustees. Let's get one more good.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
The Big 12 has announced a partnership with ASB Glass Floor and is introducing a full LED video sports floor that will debut for the 2026 Phillips 66 Big 12 men's and women's basketball tournaments this March at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. Let me put a picture of it on the screen here. Just get ready. This is going to be the future in not just college basketball, but just basketball in general. I'm sure the NBA will adopt this tomorrow. The NBA All-Star Game was already using it for events as early as 2024, but this is the first time that it's been used for official competition in a major college basketball sense. Big 12, of course, started teasing a huge announcement as early as last week. Now, I was thinking that maybe it would go in the direction of we're announcing that maybe TNT is the TV partner, which I would have been ecstatic for the Big 12 tournament. That's not what happened. Maybe a little too much build-up for this thing. It's a really cool addition to the college basketball tournament, but it's really nothing more than just an aesthetic. They should have just announced it and not teased it, is what I'm trying to get to. Let's do a bad.
Whoa. This is worthless.
It's less than worthless, my boy.
The Seattle Seahawks are your Super Bowl champions. That's not necessarily the bad. The parade was yesterday, however, and the fine administrators at Seattle Public Schools District announced that it would remain open and, quote, parade attendance would not be considered an excused absence. What are we doing? I mean, good Lord, this is a once-in-a-lifetime event for a lot of these students, and you're gonna hit them with that? Now, in other news, there was a massive flu epidemic that impacted students of SPSD yesterday. For exactly one day, all students returned to school healthy today, thank goodness. Let's do the ugly.
You just released enough hydrofluorocarbons to kill a penguin. This penguin.
Did he just talk to me like I'm ugly?
After an absolute classic between Arizona and Kansas, of course, ESPN cut to SportsCenter to discuss the game. It was a Big 12 heavyweight battle with March Madness implications, so naturally, ESPN put up a giant SEC logo in the middle of the screen. I can't say this enough. The sooner the Big 12, and anybody not named the Southeastern Conference for that matter, and that doesn't just extend to the ACC or the AAC or college sports, that extends to the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, anybody who's just been screwed around by ESPN. The sooner they get away from ESPN, the better. An absolute joke of a network, joke of a TV partner. And the crash is going to be incredible. You know it's coming. You know eventually ESPN is going to just crash and burn, and it's going to be absolutely spectacular. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Please take a moment again to like, subscribe, and follow the channel. Follow me on all social media. That's Flatland_sports on Twitter. Search Flatland Sports on Facebook and TikTok. Special thanks again to Midwest Helmets. Thank you for being a terrific sponsor of the show. We'll be back a week from today on Thursday. I didn't announce it, but Thursday is now the new day for Flatland Sports, the Flatland Sports Podcast. And this has been the Flatland Sports Podcast. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for taking the time today, and Rec and Tech.